Hello and welcome to Decentralized Health Administration at the Ubricoin Project. We bring you critical technical knowledge about creating perfect conditions for much needed revolution in health industry in the world. Much needed revolution in health industry. Under these new conditions, universal health access will be possible for you. Everyone in the world, including you and your loved ones, will have access to the best health services available. Health for everyone will be of the best quality there is in the world, and it will be affordable by all. It will be affordable by all. We are saying that we are creating perfect conditions for much needed revolution in the health industry. The health industry is doing its worst in doing is worst ever, let's say. So we need to revolutionize health conditions so that we have universal health access for everyone, so that you and your loved ones will have access to the best health services, the highest quality, and affordable by all. My name is Dr. Masharia Warenge. Again, I come to you each and every day, 1:30 p.m. East African time from Ubricoin Project, located at 1.4 degrees south of equator and 37 degrees east of the Central Meridian. That's marked right southwest suburbs of Nairobi. Today, I'm coming to you at 3:20 p.m. because it is Saturday. And then, of course, being Saturday means that everything is delayed, having a delay or a backlog. But nonetheless, today I have critical things to discuss with you. We're talking about social technology for our ambassadors program. Yesterday, we mentioned deep dialogue as one of top technologies for co-creating the chapters with the ambassadors. Deep dialogue. So today we're going to discuss about deep dialogue. We'll dive deep into the dialogue itself to understand what it is, so that our ambassador, that means you, can understand how to build your chapter. Deep dialogue. We said there are three stages. Uh, One, we have stage one is we shall be fanning out to go out to the communities and find people who are interested in becoming Ubricoin ambassadors. And second, those Ubricoin ambassadors will recruit people in their circle of influence and bring them in. That is, then of course listen to their needs. So we need to develop the technology for deep listening to understand what the people really need, and then we engage in conversations. These conversations are the ones we call deep dialogues. The deep dialogue conversation will help us to co-create the the ambassador program, and of course help to co-create your chapters. We say that the ultimate co-creation for your chapter is the Ubrica Retail Clinical Center. If we don't get there, then we know that we're not doing well. So every chapter will eventually own a Ubrica Retail Clinical Center, or a URCC. So, and of course, we cannot arrive there without dialogue, conversations with people, local people, to understand their true needs. If we don't get to understand their true needs, then everything we would be trying to do would be imposed on the local people. And of course, if it is imposed, it doesn't work. So, as an ambassador, you want to understand the technology of deep dialogue, how it works. And today, we're going to talk about deep dialogue, as we shall see from the Dialogue Institute. The Dialogue Institute itself. So this material, I did not develop it myself. Some of it is referenced from the Dialogue Institute, but it is accepted from a textbook called Decentralized Health Administration Under Development by Susan Nyambura Jigona with Ubrica Research and Development Team, including Naomi Nyado-Thotho, Winfred Mule Bibe, Abed Diani, Anne Masharia, and Frida Butali. And also, materials also from proceedings of discussions with the Ambassador Team, WUAP, including Purity Mudhua, Wahita Washira, Grace Gishura, Naomi Nyado-Thotho, Winfred Mulebithe, Abed Nthiani, Anne Masharia, and Frida Butali, Barbara Kimani, and Betty Wajiro Washira. Okay, thank you so much for listening. And of course, now let's go back to the basics so that we remind ourselves why we're here. We're here because of the Ubrica Project. The Ubrica Project tries to solve three fundamental problems. And one, the first problem is lack of access to health services, poor quality of medical services, and high cost of medical services. We see that people can lack health services when they don't have money to go to a hospital, or they don't have a hospital to go to. Yeah. Poor quality of medical service occur when good knowledge to deal with medical problems is scarce. And high cost of medical services in most parts of the world occur when manufacturing of products that can be used to solve to improve human health is stifled. So we cannot manufacture, so we don't have good, uh, good, good quality, affordable medical devices. Yeah, and so that becomes makes health to be very very expensive because all these medical devices have to be imported from somewhere else. To solve the problem of access due to lack of money, we create sokojanja.com. Sokojanja.com is an online retail store where you can sell what you have produced to increase your earning power. Money in your pocket means realized access to health. Ubrica Clinics and Hospitals project ensure physical access to health services. So if you live near a hospital, Ubrica Clinic and Hospital, then you can have access to services. Now, I have said just a few seconds ago that the the Ubrica Retail Clinical Center will be owned by the chapter. If every chapter that is created owns helps uh, develops a retail clinical center, it means that retail retail clinical services will be available near you because it will be built by your chapter, and that means that you have physical access to health services. Ubrica Science and Technology Parks create places for translation and commercialization of new and relevant knowledge, ensuring best quality of medical services for you. And the biomedical industrial city promotes local manufacturing of biomedical products, reducing cost of medicines and medical devices and health services in general, making health affordable. So let's say today let's talk about Ubricoin. Ubricoin is a cryptocurrency that we created for universal health access to underwrite all that work, including development of chapters and development of the URCCs, the the biomedical industrial city, science and technology parks, the Sokojanja. Okay. Now Sokojanja is coming up very strongly, and over the next few weeks, you hear a lot about Sokojanja. Now, you can support universal health access by getting and adding Ubricoin to your portfolio of cryptos or by getting equity in the Ubrica project. And of course, that will be very, very important that you get involved in the Ubrica project. Buy and hold at least $10 worth of UBN each and every day. You will be supporting the most important and greatest grassroots revolution for creating health for everyone in the world. You can get even more involved by joining the Ubricoin World Ambassador Program. I'm assuming that you already are a member of the World Ambassador Program, where you will gain deeper knowledge about the Ubrica project and continually share all that knowledge with people in your circle of influence. As an ambassador, you will be the bridge between Ubricoin, Ubrica, Sokojanja, and the people in the world. To increase your knowledge on blockchain, cryptocurrency, in health, and of course, Sokojanja, Ubricoin, and the Ubrica project, take courses. There are available courses in the Academy of the Cooperative Society of Ubricans. For inquiries about how to enroll in the courses, write to info@ubrica.com. Thank you for being involved here. Hit the like button so that cement your support. Hit the bell button so that you can subscribe. Now subscribe to the channel because when you subscribe to the channel, you receive notifications. The Ubrica channel is where you're getting all the news, mainly from this decentralized health news. And of course, it's important for you to ask questions if you have questions, but it is very, very important that you subscribe to so that you can receive notifications when the uh, the live show the live show is going on. And of course, participate in the channel. You're in the channel, you can ask questions, and then we can also share your knowledge about how we can decentralize knowledge in health and medicine. Okay, let's go back to the topic of today. We're talking about today's session number 6, deep dialogue. We're talking about deep dialogue, co-creating with the world Ubricoin ambassadors so that we can scale the corporate society of Ubricans. Deep dialogue, what is it? This material is coming from Deep Dialogue Institute, published at the Journal of Ecumenical Studies. Mhm. Now we're saying, from let's just look at what the Deep Dialogue Institute conceives to be deep dialogue. It says, as one is able to think with critical reflection and act with creative compassion, one begins to live the way of deep dialogue. So for you to live the way of deep dialogue, you have to be able to think with critical reflection and act with creative compassion. In this way of life, one chooses certain behaviors, including the following. And this behavior is the one you're expecting from our ambassadors. We're expecting them to reach out in openness to the other in search of the truth and goodness. Reach out in openness to the other in search of truth and goodness. Number two, learn there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than your own. Okay? There are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than your own. Number three, learn to recognize our commonalities and differences and value both. Number four, learn to move between different worlds and integrate them in caring, cooperative actions. Let's say principle number one. We said reach out to openness to the other in search for the truth and goodness. The presupposition to reaching out in search of the truth and the goodness of those who think and value differently from us to those who are other is what we do not know everything about. We do not possess all the goodness and value in the matter at hand. Though we are convinced that we know the truth and the values we hold are good, we recognize that we must endlessly seek more truth, goodness, value beyond ourselves. It's not all about me. It's about looking at value beyond myself. The primary goal of dialogue is not for us to teach, but to learn. We're not going there to give them a lecture. So if you want to bring people into the chapter, the value, the goal is not go and lecture people, telling them you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't know how to do things. No. Now the goal is to learn and to find goodness in what people are already doing. This discovery is very is a very definite definition of dialogue. To discover that we're not supposed to teach people, we're supposed to listen and learn from what they are saying. That is a definition of is the heart of dialogue. To reach out in openness to those who think and value differently from us, so we can learn and adapt our behavior accordingly. So, as an ambassador, you want to understand that. Reach out in openness to those who think and value differently from you. And let's say, reach out. For me, I would say, reach out. I'll reach out in openness to those who think and value differently from me. Okay. Now, that is first principle. The second principle of deep dialogue is learn their ways of understanding and their ways of understanding and embracing the world other than your own. I say I need to learn that there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than my own. As long as we talk only with those who think like us, we assume that our understanding and valuing the world is not always a true picture of the world, but even the only true picture of the world. A lot of people have got this problem of thinking that what is they know is everything with their friends, with a small group of friends. So, because they think that what they think and they know is everything that should be thought about and known, then they are not able to open themselves to encounter the other. When you think that way, we're not able to open ourselves to encounter the other. We learn time and again that there are ways of understanding and valuing the world other than ours. So, we have, as an ambassador, you want to learn that there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than yours. Me here, Dr. Mashari, I have to know that there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than my own. That way I'm going to open my mind so that I can think differently. Mhm. Now, as an example, if you live in a city, you could go to the village and say you encounter understanding and value of many things to do with nature in the village. This the same is true of opening ourselves up to other other views. For example, the rich have got their own understanding, and then they need to open themselves up to the poor so they understand. Even different tribes, we have so many tribes in Kenya, and we see people having tribal differences just because some people in one tribe prefer to eat githeri and others prefer to have a lot of water in their food, known as gadufu. Other people will not accept that gadufu is good because they come from a different tribe and they're used to eating chicken, ingoho, and ugali. And you see, those things don't matter. It's we need to learn uh, to to understand their ways of understanding and embracing. We need to learn their ways of understanding and embracing the world other than our own. Kenya is very, very divided along ethnic lines because many people are not interested in acknowledging that there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than our own. And if you're coming from Kenya ethnical division, then you come now. Africa itself has got about 51 different countries. Every country, people in every country think that they're superior to the other countries. I think, I don't know. But that's the kind of vibe you get that Kenyans think they are better than Tanzanians. The Tanzanians think they're better than Ugandans, you know, and that type of thing. Yeah. And of course, that doesn't help anything. So when you have members in your chapter who are from different ethnic groups or different or they're from different countries, let us agree to understand them. Principle number 3: learn to recognize our commonalities and differences and value both. Excuse me. I think we are getting. Oh, this is lemon juice. Painful lemon water. I hope it clears my throat. Every time I start talking, it's all this dust in this Nairobi area, which is not good for the respiratory system. And now, principle number 3: learn to recognize our commonalities and differences and value both. As we come to know the other, we find many things held in common. Psychologically, it is wise to focus on these commonalities, especially the early stages of encounter and during crisis. We learn that there are levels of commonalities of which we were previously unaware because we never talked to each other. And they now become a foundation for bonding. But uh, we must not cover our differences, for they too are a part of the reality. Most often, however, we will find that differences are not absolutely contradictory to our values and therefore are to be respected and valued. Hmm. That's it. I think here at Ubrica we have found that people working harmoniously, people from different ethnic groups. We have found we have a lot of commonalities because we're able to work together, find the strength of each other, and then work on that. And then even if there are differences, we just agree mm, to acknowledge them. They exist. We are all different, but that doesn't mean that is not fatal. That is not so bad to be different. It means that the work gets done by working on our common strength, teamwork. And that's why Eureka is moving so quickly. And we would like now to transfer this attitude to our ambassadors, the attitude of learning that we recognize our commonalities and you appreciate them. You also don't cover up our differences. We just value both commonalities and differences. And then finally, the principle number 4: learning to move between different worlds and integrate them in caring cooperative actions. We have learned that each one of us makes our own world, built up from our experiences, reflections, and integration thereof. In deep dialogue, we increasingly become aware that each person we encounter is an entire world of her or himself. So let us not fight over differences. And of course, there's work to do. As an ambassador, if you meet people from different faiths, different walks of life, don't tell them they cannot become members of Ubrica, Corporate Society of Ubricans, because they are different. We do not discriminate people. And of course, the key, once you have understood these things, then you are able to engage in deep dialogue. Well, as we're able to is able to use to is able and willing to use the skills of critical thinking. That's what it is, critical thinking, and creative compassion to create a way of life rooted in dialogic behaviors. We can enjoy many dimensions of life with heightened consciousness in all realms of our being. The following 10 points are meant to indicate the multidimensional benefits of a way of life sustained by dialogue. Number one, rational thinking at its very core serves as critical and logic. Rational thinking. The scientific method essentially serves an endless critical dialogue between the scientist and the observed data. The language becomes a dialogic ability to express to others what is within. We should strive to be as critically clear and as precise as possible. Our imaginations becomes dialogue. Our imagination becomes the dialogic ability to move out of our world into others, to which we should open critically. Our emotions will move us dialogically from where we are to another place, fostered by the reflection of reason and intuition. Our aesthetic ability will find beauty in the world outside ourselves. Our body will engage in reflective dialogue with itself, our spirit, mind, other persons, and the world about us. Interpersonal relationships will thrive in dialogic win-win through clear-headed and critical manner. Our moral sensibilities will develop in a critically reflective dialogue of loving the other as ourselves. We humans, with critically reflective dialogue between ourselves and the nature, will heighten our ecological sensitivity. So, as you've heard, Mr. Ambassador, Mr. Ambassador, the Deep Dialogue Institute recommends four, four ways, four behaviors that you want to choose to create an effective chapter. And again, now in summary, reach out in openness to the other. Reach out to the other in search for truth and goodness. Learn there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than your own. Learn that there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than your own. And then learn to recognize our commonalities and differences and then value them both. Move to Learn to move between different worlds and integrate them in caring, cooperative actions. This matter of deep dialogue, we came in from Theory U as discussing how to make your chapter very, very successful so we can achieve the future we truly want. In Theory U by Otto Schama, U theory itself, the theory it says that we can create the future we truly want. It is not possible to create a future all by yourself. Let's say we co-create. That is why we said this is about co-creating. We co-create the future we truly want. Co-creating, again, is the most powerful way of communicating a vision when everyone feels involved. And one of the technology for co-creation is to bring the fringe stakeholders to the core and then entertain or engage in deep dialogue. First step is to reach out with openness to the other. You found somebody is different from you, maybe somebody is poor, not as wealthy as you would want them to be, doesn't speak, has got an accent, doesn't speak as well as you'd like to be. Drop all that. That is, throw that away. Hmm? Come with openness, open heart, open mind, open heart, and open will. So, search for the truth and goodness in that person. Then, try to understand and embrace the world other than your own from that person. We don't come from the same spot. We don't come from the same place. We do not all come from the same location. Learn that there are ways of understanding and embracing the world other than our own. Once you get that, then it's possible to open your heart to the other. Learn to recognize the commonalities and differences and value both. Then that is the open will. You're willing to accept that other people have got different values and accept them as well. And of course, you'll be able to move on. Learn to move between different worlds and integrate them in care. Now we are as we're going to include all these materials in the manual of procedure so that when you continue learning about them, how to make the deep dialogue happen for your chapter so that your chapter can bring to the present the future that you truly want in your chapter. the future that we truly want is a chapter that's very successful. It has more than 1,000 members, and it has a URCC, a Ubrica Retail Clinical Center, because Ubrica Retail Clinical Center is that physical place that solves all the three problems we said in the beginning. We said a Ubrica Retail Clinical Center will bring access to health, physical access to health, right in your backyard. It is going to bring financial access to health. Like we said, it's a retail center, so you can sell whatever you produce. It also has a produce workshop where people can sell what they can increase value of what they're making. And when that value is increased, then they can be sold at the retail center, which can now also be put in the Soko Janja. And that treats your pocket. We say treat your pocket, cure diseases. And then the retail clinical center has got a medical center, a clinic. That's what is known as a retail clinical center. And of course, that brings you physical access to medical care and healthcare. This is a successful chapter. That's where you want to arrive. We cannot get a retail clinical center that is successful under the conditions here in Africa through hating one another. We cannot do that. We cannot achieve a retail clinical center and maintain it through division because some people feel they are so different from the others and they don't want them. So, as an ambassador, your goal is to reach to the highest lofty goal of having a retail clinical center in your chapter, in your local chapter. So, to get that, reach out with openness to other people in search of truth and goodness. Learn their ways of understanding and embracing the world other than your own. Learn to recognize the commonalities and the difference between you and the people in your chapter, and treat your chapter leaders, the board of directors, and committee leaders to value both commonalities and differences among people. Learn to move between different worlds and integrate them in caring and cooperative action. So, once you do that, you do very, very well. So thank you so much for listening to that. And I think that we keep embracing these four principles of deep dialogue, and we're going to do well. I want to thank you, the Dialogue Institute, for sharing with us those four values so that we can learn how to use and work with them. Very, very helpful. And of course, the Theory U, Otto Sharma, and giving us Theory U to understand how we can bring the future to the present and we work with it so that we can open our hearts, open our minds, and open our will to achieve the highest level of ourselves. Now, again, at the very end, let's say we remind ourselves the basics of the Ubrica project. We say Ubrica project strives to solve three fundamental problems of health production in the world. Problem number one is lack of access to health services. Problem number two is poor quality of medical services. And problem number three is high cost of medical services in most parts of the world. Lack of access to health services occurs when people do not have money to go to a hospital. Lack of access also occurs when there are no hospitals to go to. Poor quality of medical services occur when good knowledge to deal with medical problems is scarce, and high cost of medical services in most of the world occur when manufacturing of products that can be used to improve health of the people is stifled. We will solve the problem of access due to lack of money by creating sokojanja.com, an online retail store where you can sell what you have produced to increase your earning power. Money in your pocket means realized access to healthcare. Ubrica Clinics and Hospitals project, that is a URCC project, ensure physical access to health services, and Ubrica Science and Technology Parks create places for translation and commercialization of new and relevant knowledge, ensuring best quality of medical services in the world. Ubrica Biomedical Industrial City promotes local manufacturing of biomedical products, reducing cost of medicines and medical devices and health services in general, making health affordable by all in the nation. Ubricoin, the cryptocurrency for universal health access, underwrites health production in the Ubrica ecosystem. You can support universal health access by getting and adding Ubricoin to your portfolio of cryptos or by getting equity in the Ubrica project. Get involved. Do not sit on the sidelines of health. All right. So let's see. If you want more information, please do not hesitate to call +254 755 844 017 +254 755 844 017 +254 755 844 017, or write to info@ubrica.com. Thank you so much for that's all we had for today. I hope you learned something about how we can construct deep dialogue. If you have questions about deep dialogue, you can post your comments at the bottom of the comment box of this page, and like the video, and of course subscribe to the channel so that we stay together as we continue to find how to create conditions for universal health access. I just want to say that we are very lucky because we have the blockchain. Blockchain technology is very, very, very useful because it is has managed to help us to decentralize everything. We say decentralize everything. Yeah, that's what it is. Because once you decentralize money, we can decentralize the chapters. The chapter is the ultimate operating element for decentralizing global health. Thanks again, and for now, it's goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Mhm. Goodbye, goodbye.